What's happening, boys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over the Rangers versus Panathinaikos game, and this is the post-match review. And let's be honest, this was no walk in the park, but we got the job done. We won 2-0, and we move on to the second leg. So let's get into it. So firstly, we're going to go into the lineup that Rangers put out for this game against Panathinaikos, and what led to us winning this 2-0. So yeah, let's get into that. Okay, so this is the lineup the Rangers set up with a 4-3-3, and when I first seen this lineup I was a bit sceptical, mostly because of the front three, but we'll get into them once we start talking more in depth. But we set up with Jack Butland in goals, with, as predicted, James Tavernier, I thought so, Daja, it was just switch up between any of the centre backs. I was going to go with Emil Fernandez, John Suter, I predicted that, Max Aarons, I didn't have him in there, Raskan, Rothwell, I didn't have, Diomande, and up front we had Kieran Dowell on the right, which I would not have predicted in a million years, Daniil, and then Finlay Curtis. We will get onto him in a minute. Okay, so that is the lineup that Rangers put out tonight against Panathinaikos, and yeah, once I seen it I was a bit sceptical, mostly because the front three, like I said just there. Putting a front three with Daniil, Finlay Curtis and Kieran Dowell in a big European qualifier, I was just like, is Russell Martin, what's he doing here? But we'll get on to that. Let's talk about the first half first. The first half was very weird. It was a lot of Panathinaikos, but Rangers defended really well. As much as Panathinaikos attacked, Rangers had an answer for everything basically, because we would either be putting tackles in, blocks, and then we'll get onto this man in a second, Jack Butland. He was phenomenal. He could have saved us from being 2-0 down in the first 10 minutes. Honestly, he was brilliant, so I'm just going to stick up a couple clips of him now. Okay, so I believe this was in the 8th or 9th minute, and the ball comes in, and it's straight across the face goal, and what a save that is, and then Poistry hits the post. Okay, and then this free kick was 100% straight off the training ground. It comes in, and Rangers are caught sleeping here, so we're really lucky they didn't put us in the back of the net by heroics by Jack Butland once again. Rangers settled into the game more from about the 30th minute to the 45th, so we had a little bit of possession in between that from, I'd say, about the first minute to the 30th. It was really bad, I'll be honest. Rangers struggled and there was a lot of Panathinaikos attacking, like I said. But one thing that I found a lot happening, it was unforgivable quite frankly, was Rangers would receive the ball in our backline. It'd be us and Panathinaikos' attackers, and we'd lose possession, we'd get pressed too high, and they'd just take the ball off us, and they'd basically be in a one-on-one situation. Luckily we would get back and recover, but the amount of times it happened was unforgivable. I don't know if that's just because Rangers haven't played in a while and we're just slow off the mark and we weren't expecting Panathinaikos to press so high, or if this is actually going to be a problem this season. But I'm really hoping it's the latter, and it's just that Rangers weren't fully game ready at that point and we weren't into the game, because it happened a couple times in the second half as well, and I'm going to stick a couple clips up here. I think I only got one major occurrence of this where it could have led to something, but yeah, I'm going to stick up now. Okay, and as you can see here, we get the ball taken off us really quickly, and they launch a really fast counter-attack with Filip Dorjek, and he takes a shot, and luckily it doesn't come to anything. In this one, Butland plays out the back, and Dash is just swarmed, and luckily he does recover very well, but this could have led to something major. And then that was about it for the first half. Rangers started to turn it up from about the 30th to the 45th minute, which was really good to see us finally get into the game and start putting some stuff together and start posing a bit of a threat to Panathinaikos, which they actually really struggled with. They started to feel the pressure, which I was happy to see, that they weren't just comfortable with Rangers, because we had a really good chance with Daniil where it took a nasty deflection out for a corner. It should have been a goal, but a nice block got in the way, and that's fair enough. But yeah, we went into the half-time break at 0-0, and at this point I was like, okay, we can build from this, because the start of the first half was really poor, and that had me a little bit worried as to like, oh, are we going to get smashed here? But no, we coped with it well, and once we took the pressure off from the first 20, we coped quite well for the remainder of the half. So let's get into the second half. So the second half is literally where this game turned on its head. It completely done a 360. It was all Rangers the second half, which was great to see. Rangers came out swinging, and for the first little bit, Panathinaikos put a little bit more pressure into Rangers, and they gave us a little bit of a run for money for the first 5-10 minutes, and then this man struck, Finlay Curtis, take over this. Okay, so the ball comes down this left-hand side, and Finlay Curtis, he just cuts inside, and what a shot this is, right into the bottom corner. So let's talk about the goal firstly. It comes down the left-hand side, which I did point out in my preview, is the weakest part of Panathinaikos' game. The left-hand side, they literally, it's like they malfunction when the ball comes down that side, which Rangers exposed in the second half to a T. They done it brilliantly. Once they found out that that was the weakest part, which I believe they should have done earlier in the game, but once it was found out, it was exploited to the max. They should have been banned for what they just done to Panathinaikos down that left. There was 2 occurrences of it, and we'll get into the second one pretty soon, but I just want to talk about Finlay Curtis first. What a young player he is. Unbelievable. He's only 18 and he's scoring on the biggest stage. So there's no words for it. He could be one for the future. He really could be. He might even get straight into the starting 11. You never know. But he was everywhere tonight. He was tackling, he was blocking, he was running. He was absolutely everywhere. If he was there to get the ball, just bet your money on it, he was there. Like, he was absolutely everywhere. He made a name for himself tonight, and by God, he showed what he is made of, which is it's what we want to see from a young player. So much hunger and drive to just absolutely take the game in the palm of his hand and just say, I'm going to change this, which was definitely the turning point. There is another turning point in this game, which I'm going to get into in about a minute or two. But yeah, Finlay Curtis, what a star. Hopefully he can continue this into the season, or even just into the second leg. I'll be happy with that for now, and see where we go from it. But yeah, Finlay Curtis, what a player. We may have a gem on our hands here. Okay, so then there was another turning point in this game, and we're going to get into that now, and it's on screen now. Okay, so funnily enough, this comes from the Dodger mistake from the back beforehand, and it's Finlay Curtis once again, and he gets absolutely wiped out here by number 2 from Panathinaikos, which happens to be one of their star players, their right back. This is definitely the second turning point of the game because he is off. Okay, so it's debatable what the actual turning point of this game was. Was it the Finlay Curtis goal to put us 1-0 up? Or is it the second yellow for Panathinaikos' number 2, Topple, who is one of their main star players and also a right back? Is it the red card or is it the Finlay Curtis goal here? It's 6.5 dozen, but I'd say the main turning point in the game is the Finlay Curtis goal that puts us 1-0 up, and the rubber stamp is the red card. So honestly, it's up for debate, but I would go with the Finlay Curtis and then the red card, which would just solidify that Rangers were in complete control here at this point, which takes me on to my next point, the second goal, which comes from Daji Gassama. What a player, from what I've seen. But yeah, let's get on to that now, on screen. Okay, and this goal comes from a counter-attack, and it's gone to Diomande, and Diomande launches it up to Gassman. And Gassman, just very similar to the Finlay Curtis goal, cuts inside and absolutely launches this into the bottom corner. Unbelievable finish. So let's talk about this goal. It comes once again down the left, and Rangers once again exploit this left-hand side, because now that Panathinaikos no longer have a right back, it's so much easier to just go straight down that left. If it wasn't easy before, they've just made it 10 times easy now. It was like we're playing on kind of hard mode, and now it's just gone to beginner. So Rangers just completely exploited that for the rest of the game, which was perfect. It was smart and it was the right choice. So in this one, it comes straight down the left, and Gassman does something very similar to Finlay Curtis. He cuts inside, but instead of shooting first time, he fake shots it, takes it by another man, and then puts it right into the close post on the bottom corner, which is unstoppable by the looks of it. The amount of power he put through that was unbelievable. So that was brilliant. And then Gassman, this is one thing I believe about Gassman. If you have a really good celebration, or a celebration that is going to make people go, wow, that's a player, I believe this is what it is. You can't have a good celebration and be a shite player. I'm just going to put it out there. You can't. I don't see any bad players having a really, really memorable celebration. But Gasman, he just showcased it, and he's bringing it to the table, which is really good. He's a young French winger, so I was expecting a lot from him, I'll be honest. He's also from the PSG Academy, which also got me excited in my preview to this game, which was a couple days ago, where we signed Gasman and I discussed it. But yeah, he was phenomenal when he came on, and I'm going to talk about the changes that Russell Martin made for the last couple of minutes. Kieran Dowell came off, Finlay Curtis came off, and I believe it was Danilo for Hamza Gaman, Dessers and Gazaman, which were great changes, although that Hamza Gaman could only play a couple minutes because he's just came back from injury, and that's why he didn't start. He played really well for what we've seen. And then Gazman was perfect. He got his goal, his debut goal, and it was unbelievable. And then Dessers, he was alright. He was pretty good. He got in some nice positions, but yeah, Rangers seeded the game out and made it look really easy for the last half hour, which was really good to see. Okay, so that is it for this Rangers versus Panathinaikos post-match review. We take a 2-0 lead into the second leg in Athens, which is brilliant. We can either build from it or we can just see it out. Either way, I'm happy because we get into that next round, which is not going to be easy, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to beat around the bush here. We've got Servette or we've got Victoria Plzen, both very, very good teams, but we'll worry about that once we get into that second leg, done and dusted. But yeah, that's it for today's review. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and yeah, like, subscribe, yeah. But once again, the growth on this channel has been insane. Even if it's just little increases day by day, I'm seeing more and more people just coming in and having a watch. But yeah, that's what we want. Grow for the channel, get out to more people, and it improves the product. Keeps me motivated to do that. Even if it's just a thumbnail looking a little bit better, it keeps the product growing. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching. I've been DJD, and that is it. Root to it, and I'm out.